Hey, you made it to Unit 4. Congratulations. You have learned the basics and you've started to write some real code and you have an actual working application at this point, but we're going to make it better. And we're going to make it rain today. We are going to deal with money. And so, one of the things I wanted to do, and I've mentioned this a couple times, is I wanted to allow you to use the form builder as long as possible. Now, we're doing some manual things with our form processing, but we're going to make it easy for you. We're going to use the form builder because I want you to be able to make changes to this application easily as you're kind of playing with it. So we're going to go to Tools and we're going to go to the Form Builder, which should be Form Builder right there. And we're going to edit our form and we are going to add one more field to it. And so again, in your application, you may decide to, do addresses and student IDs and all that kind of stuff. But we're going to do something real simple. We're going to come in here and we're going to select money and we're going to use the term balance. If I can type. I can't type. You've learned that already. I can't type. So we're going to say balance. Okay, so let's say on the forms, we're going to say initial, INITIAL balance, because basically if you're using this form, I'm going to say balance. And we can change that later. And on the table, we'll say balance, and we will make this, I'm going to make this not required because when you do the RFID badge, you don't necessarily have to put a balance there. So we will leave all of this here and create the field. So now what's going to happen is when we come back here to our main page and we go to new student, we have the opportunity to put in a balance. And you'll see when I hover over this, it's a number, which means I can't come in here and put like a dollar sign. I have to put numbers in there. So we're going to create a new student and we will call him Bill Gates. And he will be number 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3. And his balance will be a sizable part of his nest egg. We're going to put $5 in there. And so we're going to submit that. And now he has a balance of $5. Now notice we're not using currency symbols. And the big part of that is I'm trying to make your life easier. I've done applications in other countries. And just keeping the currency symbol out of it is probably the best way to go. So right now, this person has a balance. Now, to do a little bit of cleanup, we could go back in the database and put a balance for every other person that's been in there. And in fact, that's going to be your homework assignment. Your homework assignment is going to be to go in and put a balance for each one of these people. Now, one of the things that's kind of cool about UserSpice is that we didn't do anything to this table. And it just automatically added this row in there so that we have the person's balance. So what do we need to do from here? In fact, what I did is I paused the video and I went ahead and added balances for these people. Now, when you add them, because you're editing straight in the database, just if your country uses commas or whatever, I'm just encouraging you to just do it like this. Do 5.00, 5 decimal point 000, the period, whatever you call it, wherever you're from. I've dealt with this all over the world. It's an issue. So I've gone ahead and I've put balances in there for these people, and that's good. But now one of the things that we need to talk about is that whenever you deal with money, you have this idea that we need to keep track of it and we need to know what's going on. So from the very beginning, we are going to start logging what happens with the money. And so if you come in here and you go to the new student page, all right, so we're doing this check, whether the student was not added or not. In fact, let's come back in here and let's do a dump and die post again. And we're going to look at what happens. I'm going to submit a form off page, Dan Hoover, whatever, and then I'm going to put a balance of 333, and then if I drag it over here, I have this balance of 333, and I have F name and L name and all that kind of stuff. So what we're going to do, in fact, I guess I can just snap this over to the right. What we're going to do is we are going to use another built-in feature called Logger. And so, not the beer, Logger. So what we're going to do is we are going to type this in. We're going to type in Logger. And then now, you've used a few functions before, but we haven't really put a lot of things in these functions. So I'm going to give you how this works right now. So the first thing you want to do is you want to record who is the one making the change, okay? And so if I were to come in here, we're going to do this one more time. We're going to do another dump. We're going to do dump user, okay? I'm going to do dump and die user. D&D user. So this is something we haven't touched on yet. And so we're going to do it now. So if I were to come in here and refresh this page, I am getting everything about my user. And I have all this information here. And I have this thing data. And so it looks weird. This is an object and we haven't done a whole lot with objects. But you can see that I have a user ID of 1. And then here's my email, and here's my password that's been secured, and my username, my first name, my last name, and all that kind of stuff. So what we're going to do, the way we reference this user is by this. So whenever you want to do something with the logged in user, you can type, and you'll get used to this, user data ID, okay? So user is the user variable. Data says you're looking in this chunk of information, and then you basically just say which column you're referring to. In our situation, we want the user ID. So what we're going to do is we're going to record the user ID of the person who added this new student. And then what you're going to do is you're going to give it a topic, and it can be whatever you want. This is basically like if you were sorting the logs or searching the logs, what do you want to see? So I'm just going to say money. So this tells me that, hey, whatever is that this log has something to do with money. And then what we're going to do is we're going to write out a message, and we're going to say added new user with a balance of, okay, now we're going to do this. I'm going to break this out here a little bit so you can kind of see what's going on. So we're going to make 3 variables. You don't have to do it this way, but we're going to do fname equals input get fname. Now I'll go ahead and stop here for a second, and we're gonna do a D&D post again so you can see what's going on. So I refresh the page, and you can see that I have fname, lname, and a balance. Okay, so what we're going to do, just to make it easier, we are going to declare these variables right here. So we're going to make lname. You can control click these things and you know, edit multiple things at once, and then we're going to go balance. Okay, so what we're doing is we're saying whatever they posted as their first name, store to a variable, last name, store to a variable, balance, store to a variable. So what we're doing is added, and we're going to say, let's see, let's do the ID also, just in case there's any confusion. The thing about the ID is that it's unique. So even if there's 2 people named Bob Smith, there won't be 2 people with the same user ID. Let's not do that because I'm not ready for that yet. So we might add that into logs later, but we're going to say, so added new user, and then we're going to do fname space lname with a balance of okay, and we can put a period there. So what we've basically done is said that in the logs, we're going to say that the logged in user, whoever that is, has a topic of money, that we added a new user with the first name and the last name and a balance of this. So I'm going to save the page. I'm going to get rid of this dump and die. And now when I refresh the page, it should go through. Okay, we added Dan Hoover with a balance of this. And you'll see it automatically added those 0.00 to the end. And now if we come over here and we go to our dashboard, you'll see that on the dashboard with the topic of money, the admin, that's my name, added a new user, Dan Hoover, with a balance of 333. And so this is when I do it. So this is really important. Like as you start getting in and you have somebody say, well, why is $5 missing from my Snack Shop account? Then you have these logs, and we'll give you some more advanced ways to look at the logs. But anyway, I think that's good for now. We've added the ability to add money. We're tracking what happens with the money. Don't forget to go in your database and add those balances to your other users. And then we're going to make something cool in the next video. Talk to you later.